Oh, come on, there it goes. A little bit about me again. Grew up local, so I know everyone kind of wrapped up being native. I am not native, but I grew up here. Went to Columbine High School. Did my undergrad out in Minnesota. Best part about that was I got to spend 6 months in Florence. So many of you have seen it.
Yeah, in or out?
Out. Most of you have seen the Florentine lily tattooed on my arm. That is why. I do have a black lab named Gabby. I also do have one fiance named Laura. Just one so far. Hobbies. That picture is taken at a Kentucky Derby party. Big Broncos fan. Rock climbing is probably my favorite summertime activity. But as recently we have just gotten into scuba diving, so I will not be here next week because Laura and I will be in Belize. I'm sorry. Terrible time. So traveling is a huge part of us. I don't mean to brag, but while we were in Ireland, we were looking at officially certified Jameson aficionado. Got the paper and then the penguin. I wanted to bring that up. This. Walking down Colfax with that was a weird experience.
How was business?
It was awesome. As Brian mentioned, I have been in sales since I was 16. My very first job was scooping ice cream for Baskin Robbins, and then since then I have sold tools for Sears, computers for Apple, coffins for Mount Olivet, checking accounts for US Bank, and then I have spent about 10 years serving food and wine and booze for a plethora of restaurants around Denver. I am a food. If you want to eat or drink, I would love to join. Prior to selling insurance, I was a nerd. I was a guy who also sold electronics, but I did it in the home automation industry. So if you wanted to have an iPad-controlled house, I was your guy. So what do I do now? Colorado Insurance, we are a family-owned and operated company. We've been in Littleton for over 20 years. We are also the largest insurance broker in the state. I have over 15 different carriers here locally. We've just expanded into Arizona as well, so if you know people that are buying out there or whatever, I can help them. As the largest home insurance brokerage in the state, we do over $1 million of new business a month. Oh crap. Sorry, so basically, where the hell am I at?
I'm really proud of that.
I'm just clipping. The value of that for this room, I put the slide on here mostly for the fact that as a company, we have over 400 new households that come into our business. If you have, if anything I can do to refer anybody in here, we have the market to do it. So I'm caught up at this point, I think. Come on, there it goes. Our office is down in Littleton. It's too far away to read, but basically that is the 470 loop down at the south end. I'm at C470 and Broadway for those who want to do one-to-ones down in that part of town. Cool. So what is it that I do specifically? I sell 4 things. I sell home insurance, auto insurance, umbrella insurance, and then your miscellaneous, your toys, your boats, motorcycles, RVs, etc. So it's important to know I only do residential, which I'm so glad to have a commercial. Welcome to the team. At the end of the day, my first priority is always going to be coverage. I made that a priority when I first started. I never want to get the call at 2 a.m. and wonder, is this, whatever this is about, is it going to work? I will always sell based on coverage. However, that doesn't always sell. The nice part about being the largest brokerage in Colorado is I get to offer lowest prices as well by law of averages. Having 20 companies to compare apples to apples to allows me to save you money and find the cheapest plan that has the coverage you need. The biggest piece for me is education about my product. It's important to know that there are no oral agreements in my industry. I am a marketing person for the carrier that I'm selling. I can tell you whatever I want to tell you, but at the end of the day, what you sign is what they're going to cover. So because of that, I want to just show you guys a little bit of a few things here. I'm very boring. This is literally what I do. I look at all day long. This is a declarations page for a home insurance policy. I want to show you this because there's a couple things on here that if you are a homeowner, you should know. The very first thing is up there is the dwelling coverage. What this number is meant to represent is how much it's going to cost to rebuild your house if you have a total loss. It's important to know because you can be underinsured, you can be overinsured. This number dictates everything else on this policy, and if you don't know what it is for your home, you're just putting yourself at risk. The second piece is personal liability. You will hear many of my commercials talk about liability coverage because it's probably the most important piece of my job. This infuriates me. If you can read it from here, you look above. I just showed you this house is worth $300,000 on paper. The client bought this place for $450,000. The agent that put this down only gave them $100,000 to protect them. Someone slips and falls, that person hires an attorney. Who are you gonna sue? The insurance company for $100,000 or the owners, and take their house, take their savings, put them into bankruptcy and homelessness? This does not fly. This infuriated me. I had to bring this out. Deductibles. A lot of people will think, see a policy and not know, well, this guy's saving me money, or was able to lower a price because I threatened to cancel. This is the only thing as an insurance agent I'm able to adjust that can affect your rate. If you had a $3,200 deductible and didn't know about it, Matt can tell you here, that's probably the most infuriating thing in the world for homeowners. You should know what your deductibles are. If you don't, again, take a look. If you don't want, I'll have the time to. I would love to tell you about it, okay? I picked this particular policy for one. Shout out to Matt Jury. Right there, if you can read that. This client had a impact-resistant roof on their property, okay? It's an awesome upgrade that Matt gets to do, and it's saving this client a couple $100 a year. I'm gonna move forward because I'm actually taking a little bit longer. Extra coverages here, and you pointed out something last week about carpets, about having, if you walk down your basement, have moist carpets. That is not covered under this policy because there's additional coverage you need to have for sewer claims, which are the third most common claims in Colorado. Huge deal. Auto, real quick, everyone's seen an auto policy. A couple things I'll point out is the liability coverages are most important. We need to make sure that if you get into an accident, you are covered. Always know your deductibles. Make sure you have uninsured motorist. It's an optional claim in Colorado, or optional coverage in Colorado. If you don't have it, you are massively at risk. Umbrellas. I'm bringing this up specifically for Diane and Brandon because they deal with it. They are important. If you have a house that is an asset, you need to make sure you're protecting it. It's liability protection. It goes above everything else. It covers your household, covers your dependents, etc. Guys, they are dirt cheap. If you don't know you need one, call me because the average cost is about $200 a year. If you have a good agent like me, I can usually get them for free. So
Free's
how to
good,
refer
by the way.
yes.
That magic word he used.
I know, I love it. So how to refer me, guys, when you're talking to people that you know, what I want you to make sure that you're instilling to them is that I sell by education and trust. I want you to know what your policies are, and if anything happens in the situation, I don't want you to worry about, am I covered? You know you've got me, you know you are. I do not want to be marketed as the price savings option. I will do that most of the time on its own, but selling by price savings is not a good market because as soon as my price changes, which I can't control, they shop elsewhere. Colorado Insurance is a great company because we are the only insurance company in town that has a full-time service team that's able to let you know every single client, every single year, you are up for renewal, and we will reshop you across our carriers to make sure you're not paying a dime more than you need to. And then finishing up here, I want to just take the guesswork out of the insurance game for you guys. That's really what it is. I'm going to provide the most comprehensive policies available so you never have to worry about it. Matt Woodward, Colorado Insurance.